So it took a while, but I finally went and watched Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Now, I know that by now, mostly everybody may have already seen it, so I'm not going to do how I usually go through the movie and talk about certain things. I just have a few points, about 7 of them, that I want to go through in regards to this movie. And as I go through these 7 points, you'll come to understand exactly what I'm talking about and my views on this movie. So without further ado, let's get into it. First up, this movie is not as bad as Thor: Love and Thunder. That's something it has going for it. I mean, I wouldn't say, that's a high bar to set, but it's not as bad as Thor: Love and Thunder, which I consider to be quite possibly the worst Marvel movie that they've ever made. It's not like that. Now, there are jokes in it, and sometimes they're a little insufferable, like when they were fighting in rebellion thing, and people are getting killed around them and they're cracking jokes. It's a little annoying at that point, and certain parts during it, they have the annoying jokes coming in there that you really think, but you don't understand, for Ant-Man, with the first 2 movies, the jokes were there, it kind of happened, so you kind of understand it, and at times, when the jokes happen, you do kind of laugh. It's funny at times, so it has that going for it. And it's got a lot of action. That means it's got a lot of action. Okay, got a lot of action. So it has that going for it. It's not as bad as Thor: Love and Thunder. The jokes are there, they try to put a little too much, but it's bearable, and it is funny at times. It's got a lot of action. That's a positive. And yes, the CGI is not fantastic, honestly, because they put way too much CGI into this thing. I understand it was in the quantum realm and they put way too much, but it didn't. I mean, some of it didn't look bad, but some of it did look. But honestly, some of it didn't look too bad. So right, it's got those things going for it. That's what it's got going for it. Let's move on now. Next up, Cassie. This girl was annoying from the start of the movie to the end of it. She just got more and more annoying as the time went along. It didn't stop. I mean, the whole thing about it is that, when the movie starts off now, because they have to do this, she's some kind of political activist thing, and she get arrested protesting something, looking to remove some homeless people, and she has to talk about how, people could barely afford rent and things now, and people do this, and she keeps telling her father how he needs to do more, and making references to how he doesn't care, and how she's disappointed him. I'm like, what the hell, woman? He saved the world. He helped save the world when the rest of the Avengers, you understand me? He could milk that for the rest of his life. You don't need to do anything else. What have you ever done? But no, you're acting like, okay, he needs to join you and be an activist and go and fight the housing crisis and all kind of... I mean, come on. And then, of course, she has to be just as smart, if not smarter than everybody else. The problem with these movies is, America Chavez, Kamala Khan, Riri Williams, even T'Challa's sister, but they're all the same person. In every one of these movies, they are all the same person. And yes, I'm not going to say, okay, they play by different actresses and different skills. Okay, we get that. But their personality, the way that they operate on screen, they're all the same person. There's nothing different about them. Other than a slight little thingy and then in regard to their race or whatever, other than that, they're all the same person. All these super smart, ultra feminine, wisecracking, quick with the quips, all kind of thing. That's just it. One of the reasons that the Avengers worked because they had different personalities. Tony Stark was his own person. Captain America was his own person. Thor was his own person. Hulk was his own person. Black Widow was her own person. Hawkeye was his own person. They all came together with these different personalities, and that's what made it work. When you look at all of these different female characters that they're trying to push, they're all the same person. When it boils down to it, that's really all there. And like I said, when it comes to Cassie in this movie, she was just absolutely freaking annoying. There's this one part where she's running, and for like 10 or 15 minutes, she's just running. She's shouting, Dad, 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 I'm coming, Dad, Dad. I'm like, oh my God, would somebody just shoot her already? That's all she was doing. Her only purpose in that movie was to just be okay. All right, she's Ant-Man's daughter. She's smart at a concert, and one of the leaders of the leader of the rebel army in the Quantum realm must be a woman. And Cassie's only there talking about oh, you're so cool. What else can I do? And there's even this part where the leader of the rebellion, right? Who these people in the rebellion have known for years, have supported, relied on. She's holding off the guards and tells Cassie, go and broadcast this message to everybody out there. And she does it, and all these people come. I'm like, these people have known you for like less than a day. Why in God's name would they all rally to go and help you? Honestly, it's like they don't think about this thing and just tell you, okay, you know what? Woman power, let's just push that out there. Seriously, they're super smart, like literally at the end when the device to take them back home gets destroyed, but well, after she and everything go through, and Ant-Man and Wasp are trapped in the quantum realm because the device gets destroyed, she just like jerry-ring something, push two buttons, and bam, open back up the portal. How does that work? The very device that you needed to open isn't working anymore. But somehow she just does it, and fine, it's just set in stone that she's just smart enough to do this. That's it. Yeah, boy. Yeah. So move on to the next one. The big secret. Now, Janet Van Dyne was in the quantum realm for 30 years. She was done for 30 years. And ever since she came back, she doesn't want to talk about it. When they do end up back there, she's all telling them, you know, cover up, don't talk about this. Apparently she has this big secret that she's keeping from them. And what is this big secret? When she was in the quantum realm, Kang showed up. Kang told her that he was a scientist and he had built this, and he has this ship that could travel through the multiverse and space and time, all kind of stuff. So she spent years with him, trying to help him build back the ship so they could escape together. Now, when they do get the ship working, the ship runs on his thoughts. So she saw his thoughts and come to reality, you know, he's a conquering nutcase. So rather than let him escape, she destroys his power source and spends the next few years with some rebel group fighting against him. Why would you keep that a secret? She's acting like she did something horribly wrong and she feels ashamed with it. You didn't do anything. The man tricked you into helping him build and repair his ship. When you found out, you stopped him and you spent years fighting over it. You don't think when you return, you should have told people, hey, listen, there's a madman in the quantum realm. We should probably make sure he doesn't get out. But you've been keeping this secret and you're acting like it's some big thing when it actually isn't. I tell you, the whole thing, because when you go to the center, you're thinking to yourself, like, okay, maybe Kang had held her prisoner, or he had forced her to build something, or maybe she had thought that you know, what he was doing, trying to unify the quantum realm was okay, and she had helped him do it, but then she came to see what he was. That is something you could be ashamed of. But you actually did something heroic. You stopped this lunatic from getting out. You spent years fighting against him, but she acted like she has this big horrendous secret that she needs to hide away so that nobody knows about it. It's just ridiculous and doesn't work. That's all. Okay, seriously, what the hell is this? That's really the only way to put it. What the hell is this? This is MODOCK. This is what they decide to put as MODOCK. You know why I blame for this? Kevin Feige. I'll tell you why I blame Kevin Feige for this. When the MCU was starting off, Kevin Feige was like a perfectionist. Yes, we understand everything wasn't going to be 100% perfect. We get that. But we also understand that, you know, he wanted to get things to be as good as possible, have them, you know, work in such a way that, you know, they all, everything clicks, everything worked out the way it was supposed to. It looked good. The way that way, it looked good. There is the whole Kevin Feige that never sign off on this god-awful looking CGI mess for MODOCK. And it turns out MODOCK is, you know, Yellow Jacket, the guy, whoever he does, his name was Darren Cross or something, who in the first movie had gotten shrunk down, and I know he has a big head, baby. I was like, I mean, come on. In the comics, AIM built MODOCK, right? Okay. You could have gone with it. No, you just introduced MODOCK in this nonsensical way. He looks stupid, he sounds stupid, he acts dotish, and then of course, he has to have his big, you know, villain, refining, undoing moment when you know, Cassie just says like 3 words to him, don't be a dick, and he's all, I can't do that, that's all I can do, and then wham bam, he gets reformed. So he just wasted MODOCK, wasted everything, and just acting like, you know, people are supposed to be interested in this crap. Oh my God, it was stupid. Alright. Kang. Let me tell you what the problem with Kang is. Okay, now, in the comics, and this is in the comics because I don't know what they may decide to do with Kang going forward in the episode, but in the comics, Kang doesn't have any powers. And let me put this out first. Okay, Kang doesn't have any powers, right? The best way to explain Kang is, if you could take a minute, okay, if Iron Man was from the future and he was an evil time traveling conqueror, that's the best way to put it, because Kang has a suit and that he built, kind of like Iron Man, but it doesn't look anything like Iron Man suit at all, right? So the most dangerous thing about Kang is his intellect. That's the whole thing about it. That's the most dangerous thing about Kang. But in the comics, yes, Kang has been a somewhat interesting villain at certain times. He's never been a massive, major threat to think about. He's always been kind of out to this, you know, conquer time, exploit that kind of thing. That's the thing about, but never the big major thing. Now, as I said before, I say again, this is nothing against Jonathan Majors. Good actor, no problem with him and all of that. Okay. But in this movie, Kang is an idiot. That's really the only way to put it. Kang is an idiot. The whole reason Kang ended up in the quantum realm is because apparently across the multiverse there's a whole bunch of different Kangs, and they all like to conquer and control and all sort of stuff, right? But this Kang decided that, you know what? He knows better than all of them. He wants to rule, so he tried to start a war against them, lost, they banished him to the quantum realm. Why? You could have just killed him. If you, like I said, Kang doesn't have any kind of powers. You could have just killed him. If you could banish him there, you could have disabled the suit and just killed him and problem solved. But no, they banish him to the quantum realm. He gets trapped there after Janet destroys his device, all of this stuff. And then the fact of the matter is, okay, he is this big conqueror. He's taking over his area, and he wants to take his army with him when he leaves, all of that. The rebels are attacking. The rebels are attacking. Ant-Man is attacking. Your entire base is being destroyed. Things are getting closer, and you're in it. You know, fire this, go that, fire that. Only for you to eventually go outside with your suit and start to decimate them. Why didn't you do it before? Why didn't you do it before? And then what ends up kicking his ass? Some ants. Apparently when they got sucked into the quantum realm, right? The ants got sucked in along with them. They passed through like 1,000 years, got super advanced, built all kind of thing. And then he gets overrun by ants. You understand me? And that's what destroys him. And for some reason, Kang is there telling them, about how in his his reality, all kind of thing, he's killed the Avengers. All kind of, I'm like, what Avengers could you possibly have killed? with your shitty little suit that ants could meet. I tell you, they are trying to build up Kang as this big bad because the next Avengers projects that are coming are the Kang Dynasty as Secret Wars. So they're trying to build up Kang as this big bad, but you don't feel it. People are talking more about how awful MODOCK looks than they're talking about Kang. Kang is supposed to be the next Thanos. But when Thanos was there, people were like, okay, who was this purple guy? What's he doing? What's going on with him? He actually wanted to get the Infinity Stones to do something. Kang just wants to conquer everything because he wants to conquer everything. And the thing about it is that they actually show you exactly how Kang is going to lose. In this movie, they show you how Kang is going to lose. And the way Kang is going to lose is because of his arrogance. That's it. He thinks he's all that when he really isn't. Like I say, Jonathan Major's good actor, all of that fine. But you don't get any kind of impact from this Kang that you would expect. There's nothing there to make you worried about this guy. You're thinking to yourself, listen, they're going to kick your ass real easily. That's the first one that comes to your mind. Kang is not doing it for anybody, for anything here at all, in my opinion. Just doesn't work. It doesn't work. Now, they try to give this movie a purpose when it really doesn't have one. Because this movie should have been how they would have, this movie kind of seemed like how they might have ended the Kang Dynasty, honestly. Because you introduce Kang as this villain. You introduce Kang as this, okay, okay. In the Loki series, you got introduced to him, and then in the after credits, Loki was there, was in the scene talking about how Kang is a real problem, but and then you also get to see all the multiversal Kangs are there and all that. Okay, what kind of threat do they really pose? We don't know, because again, as I said, nothing about this Kang makes you worried about anything. They try to, okay, we all know that they're going to focus heavily on the multiversal stuff when it comes to this this version of the MCU. But after what happened in Phase 4, you come into Phase 5 with this, and there's nothing in it that makes you interested going forward. The other MCU movies set up a purpose going forward with it. This movie doesn't really have that. It tries to limp along with that story that focuses more on trying to tell everybody, you know, Cassie is the best thing, is the bestest thing ever. Yes, the jokes are a little interesting, but then we keep coming back to Kang and Ant-Man and Wasp, and I mean, these aren't really interesting characters. And the overuse of the CGI kind of spoils anything that would have made this movie a little more grounded. I tell you, they try to give it a purpose, but it doesn't really have one. And now finally, I could see why this movie failed at the box office. I really could. I mean, you look at this movie and you really don't want to go back and watch it again, because it's like, I mean, you may check out one or two parts and then just look at it and say that, oh yeah, that's kind of funny and laugh, but other than that, it doesn't do anything for you. The movie doesn't strike a chord, it doesn't have an impact with you. I mean, I said before that most of the times, the heroes are, well, not more than what the heroes are just as important as the villains. Now, okay, in the other two Ant-Man movies, we had a Yellow Jacket who was, you know, kind of stupid, but still. Then they had Ghost, who they messed up that character and all, but okay, fine. But this time around, you have the Quantum Realm and you have Kang, and you're actually, this is supposed to be the big bad that everybody's supposed to be worried about, because let's not forget, in the comics, Kang may be related to Reed Richards. So if Kang is black, he is possible and they may race swap the Fantastic Four. But this movie doesn't set up anything for you. If they had done it in such a way that, you know, this movie may have introduced the Fantastic Four in some way or another and give them all a villain that could have worked, then maybe. But it doesn't hold its own. It doesn't go anywhere with it. So it kind of just doesn't work. I mean, like I said before, it's not as bad as Thor: Love and Thunder, but the movie doesn't really give you an incentive to come back and look at it. So that's really my breakdown of this Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. My final rating for this movie, I would give Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania at 2.2 out of 5. If you just want to check it out to see what they do with Cal, fine, but you're not really going to come back, and if you skip it, you're not really missing anything. That's really the long and short of it. So I could see why this movie isn't really making it, because honestly, people are just kind of gotten sick and tired of the MCU, and unless they really and truly get their hand out of their collective asses and do something, they're going to see more and more failures like this going forward. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. If you have a different opinion, I'd love to hear it. If you like the video, make sure to hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the notification bell notified every time I put out a new video. And I shall see you all next time. Take care.